My name is David Carlisle, and until a few weeks ago, I thought I was experiencing the ideal life. Emily, my wife, possessed a beauty that was captivating, a charm that was irresistible, and a laugh that could illuminate any space. We possessed a dwelling that radiated tranquility and a romance that appeared indestructible, or so I believed. It all started with the subtle details. Quiet phone conversations she brushed off as work-related, evenings spent out with her friends, and the faint aroma of cologne that didn't belong to me. Initially, I attempted to make sense of it. Emily was a vibrant soul, constantly radiating enthusiasm and enveloped by a lively crowd. It was simply part of who she was. Yet the discomfort persisted, burrowing deeper until it became impossible to overlook. On a Saturday afternoon, I chose to follow my instincts. Emily had left her laptop open while she stepped away for a shower, and I was aware of the password. I can't say I'm proud of my actions, yet an undeniable force drove me to seek the truth. My hands shook with anticipation as I clicked open her email and beheld the thread. There it stood. Correspondence between Emily and another individual, Steve, regarding their clandestine weekend escape. My chest felt as though it had been split wide apart. Each word I encountered pierced my heart like a blade. I chose not to address her right away. Instead, I dedicated the following week to collecting evidence, making sure I wasn't just imagining things or overreacting. I engaged the services of a private investigator, and he validated my deepest anxieties. Images, invoices, and time markers. Every bit of evidence I required. Emily was engaging in more than just infidelity. She was leading a completely different existence with this man. My first response was fury, intense and overwhelming. Yet, fury can wield a perilous influence. I took the steps that Emily evidently overlooked. I devised a plan. If she aimed to shatter the life we created together, I would ensure she experienced the weight of every fragment collapsing around her. Initially, I contacted an attorney, the finest divorce attorney in the city, not just any lawyer. He absorbed my narrative with a blend of empathy and measured distance, acknowledging my words as I presented the proof. We collaborated to create the necessary documents. I understood the importance of maintaining this secret until the moment was just right. In the meantime, I prepared the groundwork for my retribution. Emily had a passion for hosting elaborate dinner parties, so I proposed that we organize one for the upcoming weekend. She was thrilled by the notion, unaware of my hidden intentions. I filled the days before the event with a facade of normalcy, wearing a mask of smiles while braving her touch, which had become unfamiliar and icy. The evening of the celebration had come. The dwelling resonated with the warmth of companionship, the sound of joyous laughter, and the melodic clinking of glasses. Emily radiated joy, effortlessly engaging with her guests and embodying the ideal hostess. Steve was present as her coworker. My stomach twisted with unease each time I witnessed their shared, knowing look. Yet I maintained my poise. This evening was not about me relinquishing control. It was about taking it back. As the meal came to a close, I rose from my seat and gently tapped my glass to capture everyone's focus. Thank you all for being here, I started, my voice unwavering even as a tempest raged within me. Emily and I have an exciting announcement to make to everyone. Her gaze flickered in my direction, a brief moment of bewilderment crossing her features. This was not how things were supposed to unfold, and she was acutely aware of it. Emily, I remarked, glancing at her with a smile that failed to illuminate my gaze. Why not make your way up here? After a moment of uncertainty, she decided to join me, her wine glass firmly in hand. I retrieved an envelope from my jacket pocket and presented it to her. Proceed, I murmured gently. Take a moment to read it. As she opened the envelope, a hush fell over the room. Her gaze swept over the documents, and I observed the hue fade from her complexion. David, she murmured, her voice trembling. What is this all about? It's a divorce agreement, I declared, ensuring my voice carried for all to hear. Gasps echoed throughout the room. And just so you know, I'm aware of the situation with you and Steve, she gasped, her hand instinctively covering her mouth as she stumbled backward, almost losing the papers in her grip. Steve, positioned at the far end of the table, became utterly still, caught in a moment of shock. However, that was just the beginning. I kept engaging with the guests. While Emily was preoccupied with her covert activities, I was focused on safeguarding my own interests. I motioned toward my attorney, who had been quietly observing from the corner. He rose to his feet and started handing out copies of the evidence, emails, photos, and receipts, to everyone present in the room. The soft whispers escalated into murmurs, eventually erupting into a wave of outrage. Emily's dearest companions regarded her with disdain. Some even chose to leave. "David, please," Emily implored, tears cascading down her cheeks. "Could we discuss this in private? In a discreet manner?" I echoed, a bitter laugh escaping my lips. "Your disregard for privacy was evident when you chose to humiliate me behind my back. What makes you deserving of that consideration at this moment?" Steve attempted to sneak off, but I still had more to say. "Oh, and Steve," I exclaimed, halting him in his steps, "don't assume you're free from consequences. The lawyer representing your wife has been notified. Anticipate a response from her shortly." The room swirled with a tempest of feelings: fury, treachery, compassion. Emily sank into a chair, tears streaming down her face, as Steve hurriedly left the room. Peculiar tranquility enveloped me. After weeks of uncertainty, I finally felt a sense of control. The consequences were, as expected, quite chaotic. Emily made several attempts to reach me, her voicemails overflowing with remorse and desperate requests for my forgiveness. I chose not to reply. My attorney managed all aspects, guaranteeing that the divorce unfolded seamlessly and promptly. Thanks to the evidence, I emerged with the house, a substantial part of our shared savings, and, above all, my dignity preserved. In Emily's case, she lost far more than merely our union. Her standing was in ruins, and her acquaintances swiftly pulled away. After Steve's wife initiated divorce proceedings, his career plummeted as his indiscretions were exposed to the public. Their efforts to sustain the relationship faltered, ultimately succumbing to the heavy burden of guilt and shame that loomed over them. A year has passed since that pivotal night, and I am beginning to find my way toward healing. I've immersed myself in my projects, reconnected with old friends, and even ventured into the dating scene once more. In today's world, trust is a rare commodity, yet I'm gradually allowing myself to embrace vulnerability with care and deliberation. Reflecting on the past, I have no regrets about my approach. Emily made her decisions, and now she must confront the outcomes. This experience has shown me the significance of valuing oneself and the strength that comes from reclaiming authority over one's own existence. I will forever hold a deep sense of gratitude for that.